Confidence Theatrics welcomes you to the hair-raising adventures of Sam Spade, Detective, brought to you by the makers of Wild Root Cream Oil for the Hair.
Sam Spade Detective Agency.
Hello, sweetheart. It's me, Sammy Spade.
Sam, is it over? Who was behind the Battle of Montgomery Street?
I'll tell you all about it when I get there. What a day. I even had a fight with I guess you'd call it a woman.
Why, everyone knows you can lick any woman your weight.
Not this one. Sharpen a couple pencils, sweetheart. I'll be right over to dictate my report on the blood money caper.
Dashiell Hammett, America's leading detective fiction writer and creator of Sam Spade, The Hard-Boiled Private Eye, and William Spire, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, join their talents to make your hair stand on end with the adventures of Sam Spade. Presented each Sunday by Wild Root Cream Oil and the non-alcoholic hair root tonic that will put your hair back in place again, grooming it neatly, naturally, the way you want it. Why does a girl turn thumbs down on a man when there's one very important reason why? According to a recent survey, 97 out of 100 girls disliked a man whose hair is either unkempt or too slicked down. So don't look that way. Spruce up with Wild Root Cream Oil. It grooms your hair neatly and naturally. And as our surveys show, that's exactly how girls like to see it. Non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil contains lanolin, the soothing oil that's so much like the oil of your own skin. 4 out of 5 users in a nationwide test preferred Wild Root Cream Oil. You'll like it too. And now, bringing to the air the greatest private detective of them all, in The Adventures of Sam Spade.
Oh, Sam, your eye! She did hurt you.
Yeah, all of it. But there's a hole in my pants pocket. Come on, shake the lead out of your pencil.
But I got Sam. It writes underwater.
For this report, the only one that writes under Humphrey Bogart. Put it on your best stationery. It's going to the president of the Golden Gate Trust Company. What's left of it. Ready?
I'm always ready, Sam.
Dear Mr. Newhall, you may consider this my final report. There's nothing more I can do or want to do. From here out, your daughter Anne is your problem. 2 weeks ago, you retained me to check on her movements. You suspected she was seeing a man known as Red O'Leary. You also said you feared he was a, quote, disreputable character. You were right on both counts. On the night of September 16th, I picked up the subject, your daughter at the Blue Bottle Bar and Grill. She and Mr. O'Leary were seated in a booth at the rear, punishing a phony scotch. I kept a plant on them, and during the next 10 days, they met regularly at the Blue Bottle. They never went anywhere else, just sat and talked. Well, that is, Anne talked, Red listened. This routine continued until last night. I tailed them to a joint called Big Flora's on Telegraph Hill. I cooled my heels outside for a while, then went in after them. Big Flora's was a new gin mill on the hill. It had been going on less than a month, but it was going strong. I drifted over to the bar and threw a fast case around the place. No local guns, strictly an out-of-state mob. O'Leary and your daughter were in a side booth. Big Flora herself pinned me with a look when I entered. She stood at least 5'10" in my stocking feet, broad-shouldered, deep-bosomed, thick-armed, a pink accordion-pleated throat, a handsome, brutal face.
Just getting town, dearie? Or are you the local talent?
I'm from KC. That makes you happy?
KC, eh? Obi?
Bobby Pushkin? He's still eating jute.
Know him, eh? What's your name?
I got a dozen. You like Little Murphy?
Little Murphy's dead.
I know. I was with him in the busted caper that croaked him. He gave me his name before he died.
Well, if that's so, you must be an all right guy. Shake.
Ow!
What's the matter, kid? You soft? Come on. This calls for one on the house. Out of my way, PAPADOPOULOS. Big Flora's mixing these herself. This boy's from Kansas City. Meet my bartender, PAPADOPOULOS.
Papa who?
PAPADOPOULOS. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Was there anyone here in particular you wanted to meet?
How about that gold-plated mouse over there?
Her? That's a Red O'Leary's property. Miss Ann Newhall. She came in here slumming, I think they call it. Her and Red looked at each other and, dearie, was that a look? Love, I think they call it.
Yes, talk to her. You might encourage trouble.
You shut up!
Please, I didn't mean anything. No, Flora, no, don't strike me again.
Stop shaking, PAPADOPOULOS. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at anyone tonight.
Oh, I'm so glad, Flora. It's nice to see you happy. So happy.
Flora, yeah, I got to see you in private.
Sure. Take over, honey. I got to talk to this boy. Come on back to the back, BLUEPOINT.
Yes, Flora, dear.
Why do you let her knock you around like that, Pop? Ain't you got a union?
What can I do?
Who's the gun she took in the back room?
Some gangster. I think Vance is his name. BLUEPOINT Vance.
Quite a few guns here this evening. There's Patty the Mex. I haven't seen him since the days of the old beer mob. That boy Clark. Cokie Harmon. That frizzy blonde dame is Angel Grace Cardigan, isn't it?
Believe me, everyone here is a criminal. They've been drifting in here ever since that Red O'Leary came to San Francisco.
A new mob. Red O'Leary's the big gun?
Please, I know nothing of such matters.
Any idea what's the caper?
I have no idea.
Flora know?
Flora don't know. She likes anybody that brings money into the place.
Smart gal, Flora.
Yes, I must wait on the customer. Excuse me.
I looked up. Big Flora was coming out of the back room with BLUEPOINT Vance. They laughed about something, and he walked away. Then, Flora went over and whispered to Ann Newhall. Looking a little frightened, Ann got up and followed her into the back room. Red gave her a reassuring smile as she disappeared through the curtains. I went over to Red's table.
What do you want, Seamus?
Mind if I sit down?
Yeah, I mind, but it looks like you don't.
Red, why don't you leave the girl be? This isn't her crowd.
Look, Spade, I don't mind you telling us. That's how you make your money. But let's keep it formal, shall we?
Okay, Mr. O'Leary, let's. Who's the boss gun of this mob?
Mob? What mob?
Don't be coy. There's not a face in this room that doesn't have a picture of it, front view and profile, with a number under it.
Why are you telling me?
My job is to look after Ann Newhall.
Go ahead, if you think she needs it.
She needs it. She's drinking too much and it's beginning to show.
You're not a snob, are you, Sammy?
Why should a kid that's got everything throw it away for what you've got, which is nothing?
You sound like you wish you throw it away in your direction.
I do indeed, Red. I do indeed.
Now look, Sam, I've been walking the straight end since I left Chicago.
That what you told her?
That's what I told her, and that's what I'm telling you.
Couldn't be that you're rushing Ann Newhall because she knows her way around the Golden Gate Bank.
Use your head, Sammy. You couldn't blow the Golden Gate with an A-bomb.
Ann might know what day the time locks are sprung, or she might find out from her daddy.
Use your head, Sammy. Montgomery Street is crawling with cops and bank guards who can lay their hands on more heavy artillery in 30 seconds than this mob has seen in their lives.
Guys have been crazy enough to try it.
Not this guy.
Good. Now what about Ann Newhall?
What about Ann Newhall, Mr. Spade?
Oh, hello, Miss Newhall.
Sammy doesn't believe I've gone straight, Ann.
Why do you waste your time talking to a sneaky gumshoe like him anyway, Red?
I felt like talking to him. You got any objections?
Of course not, Red, darling. I just thought maybe you thought you had to be nice to him because he's working for Father.
He thinks he's working for you.
Well, he's not. Mr. Spade, I'm sick and tired of being followed around. Red is very well qualified to protect me. And if you don't leave us alone, I'm going to ask him to protect me from you. Do I make myself clear?
Okay, sweetheart. I'll call your old man in the morning and tell him I'm through. And I'm going to tell him why I'm through.
Because Red threatened you, I suppose.
No, sweetheart, that's not why. The why is because you aren't worth protecting. I went home and tried to forget Ann Newhall. I did, pretty nearly. But I couldn't shake the hunch I had about the mob in Big Flora's place. I kept thinking about them. And about your bank, Mr. Newhall. Your bank, and the bank that faced it across the street on Montgomery, contained a good part of the cash money in the city of San Francisco. For a mob of cheap gunsols to knock over every one of those banks would be like splitting Gibraltar with a BB gun. But supposing the cops were really masterminded, 100 really tough guns might crack both of them at once. I counted 30 in Big Flora's alone, and they were still coming in when I left. It was a cute hunch, but wild. I decided to sleep on it. Next morning, I was reaching for the phone to call you, when it rang. Yes?
Mr. Spade, this is Taylor Newhall.
Yes, Mr. Newhall, I was just going to call you about your daughter.
Yes, Mr. Spade, about my daughter. There's no point in continuing on this job. I've decided that Mr. O'Leary is all right.
You feeling all right this morning, Mr. Newhall?
Yes, Mr. Spade. I've met Mr. O'Leary and,
Just a minute, Newhall. Mr. Newhall, where are you calling from? The bank?
No, I'm at home. I decided not to go into the bank today.
You're a lucky man, Mr. Newhall.
What do you mean by that?
I'm looking out the window toward Montgomery Street, Mr. Newhall, and I can barely see your bank for the gun smoke.
What's that? I can't hear you.
I can't hear myself. I'll call you back, Mr. Newhall. I couldn't see the bank building distinctly, but the block between Kearny and Montgomery told me enough. 10 police squad cars were piled up near the corner and cops had been mowed down as they crawled out of the wreckage. The bandits had started the caper by knocking over the garage where the banks kept their armored trucks, and they mowed down the law as fast as it could come in. A police grenade blew one of the trucks sky high, and the cops moved in another few yards. But the gunsols had thrown up a barricade behind it and held their line. Guns shattering, grenades exploding, sirens screaming, and the yells of the battling men. It was like the soundtrack of All Quiet on the Western Front. The Battle of Montgomery Street had begun.
In just 21 words, I can sum up for you the reason why more and more men are using wild root cream oil all the time. here they are. Mainly because wildroot cream oil has the advantages that men expect from a fine hair tonic, without the disadvantages they sometimes find. Yes, that's the gist of it. Now, what a real man wants, a tonic that plasters his hair and gives a greasy, sissified look? Wildroot cream oil never does that. It grooms your hair naturally without a trace of that slicked down appearance. Or what man wants a hair tonic to make him smell like a perfume factory? Wildroot cream oil never does that either. This grand non-alcoholic product has just a slight masculine fragrance. Besides, it does a really thorough job of grooming, keeps your hair handsomely in trim, relieves annoying dryness, and removes loose, ugly dandruff. And remember, there's not a single drop of alcohol in wildroot cream oil. What's more, it contains soothing lanolin. So get this big economy size at your drug or toilet goods counter. And next time you visit your barber, ask him to use wildroot cream oil on your hair. And now, back to Blood Money, tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
By 12 o'clock, the battle on Montgomery Street was over. On the desk in my office, the afternoon papers screamed the news of the Seamen's National and Golden Gate Trust, double looting in 5 colors. The returns weren't all in yet, but the score stood at 16 coppers knocked off, 3 times that many wounded, and 12 innocent spectators, bank clerks, and the likes killed. The bandits had lost 7 known dead and 31 prisoners. The others, 100 odd, had made a clean getaway using ordinary cars that were easily lost in traffic. I was reading the newspaper guesses as to the size of the loot, around $10 million.
Sam, there's a man outside. I think he's been shot. There's blood all over.
Stay in here. I'll see him in the outside office. What do you mean coming in here messing up my carpets?
They jumped me. It started.
What started? You need a doctor.
You got to listen to me, Spade. I don't think I got much more time. I got 5 slugs in me. I'm BLUEPOINT VANCE.
Yeah, you're a big pal of Flora's. One of the mob that was in the Montgomery Street push. What else? He talked. The way he told it, the mob was split up into 10 groups. Each group had a leader. Each leader received a map and a detailed plan of his part of the operation. But none of them knew who made the plans. Each one took his orders from the group leader just ahead of him, like a chain letter scheme. BLUEPOINT was the top link in the chain. I asked him who was the Eisenhower.
I don't know. Every man's cut 100 grand. Every one of us knocked off. Ups the divvy for the others. See? That's what I mean. It started. See?
Yeah, who'd you get your orders from? Come on, BLUEPOINT, try. Who was it?
It was Red O'Leary.
Red, huh? I was afraid of that. Effie!
Yes, Sam. Dead?
Yeah, call homicide. Tell him to get the boys up here with the basket. Take the rest of the day off.
Did he tell you anything?
Some, Effie. Some. BLUEPOINT VANCE said it has started. It had. They were dropping all day long. In alleys, singly at first. Happy Jim Hacker and Ratface, and then in 2s and 3s. And finally, 24 mowed down where they were all lined up against a wall in a house on Fillmore Street. And for every mobster killed, there was a bigger chunk of blood money per man among the survivors. Around 6 in the evening, I walked up Telegraph Hill to Big Flora's. The neon sign was dark, curtains drawn tight over the windows, and a sign on the door said, "Closed for alterations." I climbed a flight of stairs to Big Flora's rooms over the saloon and pounded on the door.
Well,
Wacky Washburn sent me.
step inside. We'll talk in here. The parlor's in use.
So,
it's you, Flora? Oh, I thought I heard the door be, excuse me.
Told you to keep your trap shut in front of the guests.
Oh, no, Flora, I'll be good. Don't strike me again.
So
you and Papadopoulos are at it again. He your husband?
him? Does little bitty husband wanna hug from Big Flora?
Oh, Flora, please, not that.
What's the matter, honey? Don't you like to be hugged?
Oh, yes, Flora, but remember last time? My ribs, they had to be taped up.
You should have heard him squeal when they pulled off the adhesive. Sit down, honey, before you fall down. You too.
Thanks.
All right. Talk. Who, what, and why?
I'm Percy McGuire. Percy McGuire, and I want my 150 grand.
Listen, Percy, you got a bill. You got to give the bill to the big gun.
I don't even know who he is.
That makes 2 of us.
But Flora, that's not true. He's coming here this evening.
What was that you said, dearie?
Now, Flora, darling. Oh, no, Flora! I didn't mean to say anything wrong. I swear I did not.
Kill you! So help me. This time I am going to kill you.
That's enough of that.
Who says so?
I say so. Pick on someone your own size.
You look about my weight.
Better not, Flora. You might get hurt.
Defend yourself, man. Defend yourself.
Okay, sister. You asked for it. I got the worst of it from the beginning. She led with her right like a woman, but what I didn't know was that she was a southpaw. I get in a couple where they should have counted, but where most women are soft, she had muscle. I was punchy before the round was over. And when somebody rang the doorbell, I was on the carpet, saved by the bell.
Pardon me while I answer the door, Mr. McGuire. We'll finish this later. Oh, and let me just take your gun. Getting old, out of condition. But we had fun, didn't we? Help him up, Papadopoulos. Get him some water.
Are you all right? Are you not badly hurt?
Well, jaw's not broken.
Stay close by me this evening. We'll help each other against that she-devil.
That wouldn't be the big gun she's letting in now.
Yes, it is this time.
Step in here, kids. You know, Papadopoulos, Mr. McGuire, Red O'Leary, and Miss Newhall.
McGuire, hey?
Miss Flora, Red is badly hurt.
Hurt? Why didn't you say so? What happened, Red? Did they jump you?
Slug in my neck. I can't move my right arm.
Red thought you might know of a doctor we could trust.
Only doc I know got knocked off with that bunch on Fillmore Street.
Let me have a look at that, Red.
You a doc, Mr. McGuire?
I don't think he'd last to the hospital and through the questioning they'd give him before they'd touch this.
No, don't say that.
He's lost a lot of blood, but he's tough. The slug's stuck in the neck muscle. I can dig it out. You got any disinfectant in this house?
Nothing but a little bottle of tincture of iodine, but it's mostly dried up.
You, listen carefully, Miss Newhall.
Yes?
Go down to the corner drugstore. Get some alcohol, swabs, iodine, cotton, and gauze. The kind with the blue cross on it. If he doesn't have that kind, tell him to phone out for some.
I don't know why she don't look right to me. I don't know as I...
Shut up. Go out to the kitchen and boil some water. Get some towels and clean rags. Hurry up. I started digging the slug out of Red O'Leary's neck. Took about an hour. He was out most of the time. Then I put a bandage on it using Flora's iodine for disinfectant. He was still running a fever when he got to his feet, wearing his lips in a grin. His right arm hung useless. He reached out with his left to pick up his shoulder holster, and the gun wasn't in it anymore. The other empty holster was mine.
Where's Flora?
I sent her out to boil some more water. Shall we talk?
Listen, there's no time to talk. I know that you sent that girl to phone the police, Mr. Spade. Yes, I also know that you are Sam Spade.
Aunt's no stool pigeon. She wouldn't rat on me.
She would if she thought it was the only way of saving your life. If she got what I was trying to tell her, that's what she thinks.
You...
No. He is right, Mr. O'Leary. That she-devil will kill us all. Better the police. Spade, listen to me. Let me get out past the police, and I will give you everything.
Go on out. Who's stopping you?
Look out the window. Plainclothes men watching the door, waiting for a squad car. I'm old. I'm sick. What have I to do with robberies? Have you seen it? Have you seen it here? I'm a slave. Who am near the end of my life? Abuse, cursing, beatings, and those are not enough. And now I must go to prison because of that she-devil? You will let me out. I will go. I will give you that she-devil. I will give you the money they stole.
How can I get you out?
How not? You're afraid of the police. You can take me out past your friends, the police. Do what I ask, and I will give you the monies. $10 million. Make no mistake, when that she-devil comes back into this room, you will die. Both of you. She will kill you certainly.
PAPADOPOULOS!
Sounds like it's too late.
Where are you, you old hound?
In here, Flora!
Where's that stool pigeon? Ha! There you are, putting the police on me, will you?
Who, me? I tipped the police?
You were that dame that came here with Red. You're done, both of you. You hear me? Done.
No, wait! Wait, Flora. Not here like this, please. Don't give the police such evidence. Let me take them to the cellar.
Okay, but make it quick, dearie. Soon that squad car gets here, they'll be pounding on the door. Call me when you're finished and I'll help you haul them out of sight.
You will march ahead of me. If either of you make one move, I will shoot you. I'm holding 2 guns on you.
Red and I walked ahead of PAPADOPOULOS into the hall. I opened the door he indicated, switched on the basement light, and helped Red down the uneven flight of steps.
Listen to me. I will show you the monies, and then I will give you that she-devil. You will not forget your promise. I shall go out through the police.
Sure.
What about me?
You think Big Flora would let a rabbit like him change her plans?
So, Big Flora was the boss. That's a laugh.
Now turn around, both of you. Here, take these.
What kind of joke is this supposed to be?
I'll give you these guns to show you I will keep my promise. Now quickly follow me. I will show you where the monies are hidden.
I followed him and Red O'Leary to the end of the passageway. Papadopoulos got down on his knees and started clawing at the wall like a rat. With trembling hands, he lifted out a section of loose bricks, and then we saw it. It was still in the boxes of the bags the way it came carried from the banks. He insisted on opening some of them to show me the money. Hundreds of bundles of green stacked in a metal-lined cell that was as dry and airless as the bank vault they'd lived in before.
That, you see, is the money. Now for that she-devil. I will be standing behind these boxes. When I bring her down the stairs, you will know what to do.
Yeah, Pappy, we'll know what to do.
He wasn't long in coming back. Flora came down the steps ahead of him. She had a gun in each hand. Gray eyes were everywhere. Her head was down like an animal's coming to a fight. Her nostrils quivered. Her body coming down, not fast, not slow, was balanced like a dancer. She was a beautiful fight-bred animal.
Come out! Come out, or I'll come and get you!
Stay here, Spade. I want the first crack at the old witch.
Red, come back here, you fool! Red!
Ah!
She dropped Red without moving a muscle that I could see. I guess the poor guy must have been a little feverish from his wound, running into the opening like that, firing wildly from his wobbly left hand. I didn't feel heroic myself. I just aimed the best way I knew how from my ambush and squeezed the trigger.
You bungling idiot! You shot the wrong one! You shot the wrong one!
My aim had been bad. I'd aimed for his leg, but got him in the side. After that last scream, he didn't make any more noise. Then, he didn't move anymore. Big Flora let the guns fall from her hands and knelt down beside his body.
What did you do that for? I was the one with the gun on you! Why didn't you shoot me instead?
I figured he was the one when I figured who he was when you let him bring me down here where the money was without squawking your head off.
He was the smartest, kindest man that ever lived.
Smart enough and kind enough to put about 300 people out of their misery. Listen, Flora, don't you know he gave us guns and brought us down here so we'd knock you off and he'd have the loot all to himself?
He wasn't much of a man for muscle, but he had brains, see? He was smarter than you or any copper that ever lived. You killed a great man. I hope you feel good about it.
Yeah, you and he were a great team. Nobody would have suspected that the arch gunner, the biggest mob in history, was Big Flora's whipping boy. My aim had been bad. I aimed for his leg, but got him in the side. After that last scream, he didn't make any more noise. Then, he didn't move anymore. Big Flora let the guns fall from her hands and knelt down beside his body.
What did you do that for? I was the one with the gun on you. Why didn't you shoot me instead?
I figured who he was when you let him bring me down here where the money was without squawking your head off.
He was the smartest, kindest man that ever lived.
Smart enough and kind enough to put about 300 people out of their misery. Listen, Flora, don't you know he gave us guns and brought us down here so we'd knock you off and he'd have all the loot to himself?
He wasn't much of a man for muscle, but he had brains, see? He was smarter than you or any other copper that ever lived. You killed a great man.
Yeah.
I hope you feel good about it.
Yeah, you and he were quite a team. Nobody would have suspected that the arch gun of the biggest mob in history was Big Flora's whipping boy.
I never wanted to bat him around like that. I had to. I never really hurt him. We used to laugh about it afterwards.
All right, down there. All your exits are covered. Come out with your hands clasped behind your necks. This is the police.
All right. All right. Keep your shirt on. Come on. Let's get it over with. No use fighting anymore.
You really loved him, didn't you, Flora?
So what? Who are you to laugh at us?
Yeah, you're right. Who am I to laugh at you? After the cops had cleaned up at Big Flora's, I took your loving daughter on home in a taxi, Mr. Newhall. See itemized and count enclosed. She was pretty broken up about Red O'Leary's death, but I think she'll recover. Please don't leave either your $10 million or your daughter lying around loose again, as the entire incident has caused me a great deal of trouble, and I will therefore have to charge you my regular fee of $25 a day and expenses instead of the usual fee for tailing. Period. End of report.
Oh, Sam, I wish you'd just taken one little package of that money. They'd never have missed it.
Effie, I'm surprised at you. That wouldn't be ethical.
I don't know why you have to get ethical every time the installment is due on the office furniture.
Hey, what's this?
Oh, a letter for you. It came this morning.
Why didn't you tell me? It's from Golden Gate Trust. A reward for my services. Well, hurry up, open it. Ha ha! A check.
It's a check, all right.
How much?
$3.83.
What's that for?
I don't know. It's made out to Big Flora's Bar and Grill, signed by you and stamped returned for lack of funds.
How do you like that?
I'll get used to it, I suppose, in time. Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
Thank you for watching Confidence Theatrics radio troupe production of Sam Spade, The Blood Money Caper. Your cast is Maurice Crittenden as Red O'Leary, Nikki Arbiter-Murphy as Flora, Snowden Jackson as the cop, Kenneth L. Waters Jr. as Papa and Taylor, Emily McGee as EFFIE, Shemika Renee as Vance, Brian Weissman as Sam Spade, and Laura Adams as Anne. I am Leslie Kay, your announcer. Thank you for watching.